Bayo, you have been a loyal and dedicated employee, but I think it's time for you to move on. Bayo's eyes widened in shock. What do you mean, Ma? Have I done something wrong? No, Bayo, Clara replied quickly. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just, I think it'd be best for the both of us if you found a new job. She handed him an envelope containing an advance salary. This should help you while you look for something else, she added, avoiding his gaze. Clara had built a life that many envied. Just at 30, she was the CEO of a thriving tech company in Lagos, a position she had worked hard and tirelessly to achieve. Her determination and intelligence were evident in every decision that she made, earning her the respect and admiration of her peers. Her office was a sleek modern space with large windows and offered a panoramic view of the bustling city below. It was a symbol of her success and her independence. Despite her professional achievements, Clara's personal life was a different story. A few years ago, she had been deeply in love with a man named David. They had planned a future together, filled with dreams of marriage and children. But those dreams were shattered when Clara discovered David had been unfaithful. The betrayal left a scar so deep that she vowed never to allow herself to be vulnerable again. Since then, Clara had focused all her energy on her career. She believed that success in her work could fill the void left by her broken heart. Her days were filled with meetings, business deals, and late nights at the office. She was always the first to arrive and the last to leave, earning her a reputation as a workaholic. Her colleagues often wondered how she managed to balance everything so perfectly. But Clara knew the truth: work was just her escape. Her only close friend was Abigail, a vibrant and cheerful woman who had been by Clara's side since their university days. Abigail was the opposite of Clara in many ways. She was outgoing, always the life of the party, and had a warm, inviting personality. She had built a successful business of her own, running a chain of upscale boutiques that were particularly popular among Lagos elites. Abigail was happily married to Femi, a kind and supportive husband, and they had a charming little boy named Toby. Abigail and Clara had a bond that went beyond friendship. They were like sisters. They often met up for lunch or for a quick coffee, where they would share their latest achievements and challenges. Abigail was one of the few people who truly understood Clara. She knew about the walls Clara had built around her heart and often tried to encourage her to let them down. Clara, you can't let one bad experience define your whole life, Abigail would say. I know, Abby, but it's not that simple, Clara would reply, her eyes reflecting the pain she still felt. I'm just not ready to trust anyone again. Abigail would sigh, knowing that Clara's resolve was strong. I just want you to be happy, Clara. You deserve that. Clara appreciated Abigail's concern. She was determined to protect herself from further heartaches. She couldn't imagine going through the pain of betrayal again. Instead, she poured her love and her passion into her work and enjoyed the company of her loyal friend. On weekends, Clara would sometimes join Abigail and her family for a dinner. These gatherings were stark contrasts to her usual solitary evenings. The laughter, the playful banter, and the warmth of Abigail's family made her feel a sense of belonging she rarely experienced. But as much as she enjoyed these moments, they also reminded her of what she had lost and what she feared to hope for again. Clara's daily routine was a well-oiled machine. She woke up early, went for a run, and headed to her office where she would immerse herself in work until late night. Her staff admired her dedication and often sought her advice. She was a fair but firm boss, always expecting the best from her team. Bayo had been working for Clara for nearly 3 years. From the moment he started, He had been nothing but professional and respectful. He admired Clara not just for her beauty, but for her determination and independence. She was unlike anyone he had ever met, and he couldn't help but look up to her. Bayo came from a humble background. He grew up in a small town where opportunities were scarce. When he moved to Lagos in search of a better life, he was fortunate to land the job as Clara's driver. He was always punctual, maintained the car impeccably, and was discreet about his employer's private life. His loyalty and dedication did not go unnoticed by Clara, who rewarded him with a good salary and occasional bonuses. Despite the professional nature of their relationship, Bayo couldn't help but develop feelings for Clara. He admired her strength and her independence, and her kindness towards him only deepened his affection. He kept these feelings to himself, knowing that it was inappropriate to express them. Clara was way out of his league, and he was content just being close to her in his own way. One sunny afternoon, Bayo was diligently washing Clara's car in the driveway. The sun was blazing as the heat was intense. He had taken off his shirt, wearing only a pair of old jeans. As he scrubbed the car, water splashed over him, soaking his jeans and causing the water to glisten on his bare chest. Inside the house, Clara was finishing up some work when she glanced out of the window. She saw Bayo, his muscular body wet and glistening under the sun. She found herself staring, unable to look away. His dedication to his job, combined with his physical appearance, suddenly struck her in a way she hadn't anticipated. She watched as he moved, his muscles flexing with each motion. Clara had always seen Bayo just as her driver, a reliable employee. But now, seeing him like this, she felt something she hadn't felt in a very long time, a flutter of attraction. Clara quickly shook her head, trying to push the thought away. She couldn't let herself go down that path. Bayo was just her employee, and she had strict boundaries when it came to her professional relationships. She took a deep breath and tried to focus on her work, but the image of Bayo kept creeping back into her mind. Downstairs, Bayo finished washing his car and was about to put his shirt back on when he heard Clara's voice. "Come inside for a moment," she called from the door. He turned, slightly surprised, and walked towards the door. "Yes, ma," he replied, stepping inside. Clara handed him a towel. "You should dry off before you catch a cold." "Thank you, ma," Bayo said, taking the towel and wiping his face and chest. As he did, Clara couldn't help but notice the defined muscles of his arms and torso. She felt her cheeks flush slightly and quickly looked away, hoping Bayo hadn't noticed. "I appreciate how hard you work, Bayo," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "You're very dedicated." Bayo smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "Thank you very much, ma. I'm just doing my job." Clara nodded, forcing herself to remain composed. As he left, Clara sat down, her mind racing. She couldn't deny the attraction she felt, but she knew she had to be very careful. Bayo was her employee, and she valued the professional relationship they had. But for the first time in a while, she found herself questioning her own rules. Bayo, on the other hand, couldn't believe what had just happened. Clara had noticed him, and for a brief moment, he felt a connection. He knew he had to keep his feelings in check, but he couldn't help but replay the moment in his mind. The next day, Clara couldn't shake off the thought of Bayo from her mind. She went through her usual morning routine, but her focus was off. Every now and then, her mind would wander back to the previous day's events. She tried to brush it off as a fleeting moment of weakness, but deep down, she knew it was just more than that. At the office, Clara found it hard to concentrate on her work. Meetings felt longer and emails seemed more tedious, as her usual sharpness was dulled by the constant distraction. Her thoughts kept drifting to Bayo, wondering what he was thinking, if he felt the same way she did. The tension built up inside her, making her anxious to return home. As the workday ended, Bayo arrived promptly to pick her, as he always did. Clara got into the car, trying to act normal, but there was a palpable tension in the air. The drive home was silent, each lost in their own thoughts. Clara's mind raced with possibilities, while Bayo tried to keep his emotions in check. When they arrived at Clara's house, she felt a wave of nervous anticipation. Bayo parked the car and got out to open the door for her. As she stepped out, their eyes met, and there was an undeniable spark between them. It was as if all of the unspoken words and hidden feelings were communicated in that very brief moment. Inside the house, the air was thick with tension. Clara turned to face Bayo, and before she could think, she found herself moving closer to him. She hesitated for a moment, but the pull was so strong. She reached out and touched his arm, feeling the warmth of his skin under her fingers. Bayo, Clara started. Before she could finish, Bayo closed the distance between them. Their lips met in a passionate kiss, the intensity of the moment overwhelming them both. It was as if all of the pent up emotions and desires were released in that single kiss. Clara felt a rush of adrenaline, her heart beating wildly in her chest. Bayo's hand gently cupped her face, and she melted into his embrace. Clara, we can't, Bayo whispered, pulling away reluctantly. His breath raged. Clara took a deep breath, trying to regain her composure. This never happened, Bayo. Do you understand? Bayo nodded, though his mind was already racing with the thoughts of her. Yes, ma, I understand clearly. Clara stepped back, her mind swelling with the conflicting emotions. She knew what they had done was risky, but she couldn't deny the connection she felt. She had always prided herself on maintaining professional boundaries, but with Bayo it was different. There was something about him that made her want to break all of her rules. Bayo, you should go now, Clara said softly, trying to maintain her authority. Of course, ma, Bayo replied, turning to leave. As the door closed behind him, Clara sat down, her mind in turmoil. She knew she had to be very careful, but she also couldn't ignore the feelings that had been stirred within her. The memory of their kiss lingered, and she found herself longing for more. For the first time in a very long time, Clara felt alive, but she also knew their relationship had just taken a complicated turn. Bayo, on the other hand, walked back to his quarters, his heart pounding. He couldn't believe what had just happened. The woman he had admired for so long had kissed him, and it felt like a dream. But reality quickly set in, and he knew he had to tread carefully. He respected Clara too much to risk losing his job, but his feelings for her were now impossible to ignore. Clara woke up the next morning feeling restless. The events of the previous day was replaying in her mind. She couldn't shake off the unease. She went through her morning routine mechanically, trying to push away the thoughts of Bayo and their kiss, but no matter how hard she tried, the memory kept surfacing. At work, Clara was distracted and found it so hard to focus on her tasks. Her colleagues noticed her unusual behavior, but she brushed off their concerns with a forced smile. She knew she needed to talk to someone who would understand. Abigail was the only person who came to her mind. That evening, Clara called Abigail and asked if they could meet up for dinner. Abigail agreed, sensing the urgency in Clara's voice. They met at their favorite restaurant, a place with dim lighting and comfortable seating. And as they sat down, Abigail looked at Clara with concern. Clara, what's wrong? She asked. You seem so tense. Clara took a deep breath, her eyes reflecting the turmoil she felt inside of her. Abby, something happened yesterday, and I don't know what to do. Abigail squeezed her hand reassuringly. Tell me, Clara, you know you can trust me. Clara nodded and began to recount the events of the previous day. She told Abigail about Bayo, the unexpected kiss, and the confusing emotions that followed. As she spoke, she felt a mixture of relief and anxiety, unsure of how Abigail would react. When Clara finished, Abigail was silent for a moment, processing everything that she had just heard. Finally, she spoke, her voice gentle and understanding. Clara, it sounds like you have feelings for him, Abigail said, her eyes searching Clara's face for reaction. Clara shook her head, trying to deny it. I can't, Abby. He's just my driver, my driver. Abigail smiled knowingly, a hint of amusement in her eyes. Love doesn't care about status, Clara. It doesn't follow rules or logic. Clara sighed, her shoulders slumping. But it's so complicated. What if it ruins everything? What if it doesn't feel the same way about me? Abigail leaned forward, her expression serious. Clara, you can't live your life in fear. Especially if you have feelings for Bayo, you need to confront them. Talk to him. Be honest about how you feel. There's no harm in trying. Clara looked down at her hands, her mind racing. But what if it changes everything between us? Abigail reached out and lifted Clara's chin, making her look into her eyes. It already has, Clara. You can't pretend it didn't happen. You need to figure out what you want and take your chance. You deserve to be very happy. Clara felt a wave of emotion wash over her. She knew Abigail was right, but the fear of the unknown held her back. She had built a life of control and certainty, and the thought of risking it all for love terrified her. Thank you, Abby. I needed to hear that, Clara said, giving her friend a grateful smile. As they finished their dinner and parted ways, Clara felt a sense of clarity. She knew she had to confront her feelings, no matter how scary it seemed. Abigail's words had given her the courage. Despite her attempts to move on, Clara couldn't stop thinking about Bayo. His image was constantly on her mind, distracting her during meetings and haunting her dreams at night. She found herself replaying their kiss over and over again, feeling the warmth of his lips and the strength of his embrace. It was becoming harder to concentrate on her work and even harder to ignore the feelings that had awakened inside of her. Bayo, on the other hand, was equally tormented. He had always admired Clara from a distance, respecting the boundaries of their professional relationship, but the kiss had changed everything. He couldn't stop thinking about her, yearning for the closeness they had shared in that very brief moment. His feelings for her had grown stronger, and he found it increasingly difficult to hide them. Clara knew she had to do something before things spiraled out of control. She valued her life so dearly and the reputation she had built over the years. One afternoon, after a particularly restless day, Clara called Bayo into her office. Her heart was heavy with the decision she was about to make, but she convinced herself that it was for the best. Bayo, please sit down, she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside of her. Bayo sat down, sensing that something was wrong. Is everything okay, ma? He asked, concern evident in his eyes. Clara took a deep breath, trying to muster the courage to go through with her decision. Bayo, you have been a loyal and dedicated employee, but I think it's time for you to move on. Bayo's eyes widened in shock. What do you mean, ma? Have I done something wrong? No, Bayo, Clara replied quickly. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just, I think it would be best for the both of us if you found a new job. She handed him an envelope containing an advance salary. This should help you while you look for something else, she added, avoiding his gaze. Bayo felt a wave of confusion and heartbreak wash over him. He couldn't understand why Clara was letting him go. But ma, I don't understand. Why are you doing this to me? Clara stood up, needed to end the conversation before she lost her resolve. I am sorry, Bayo. This is for the best. Please leave your keys with the receptionist on your way out. Bayo stood up slowly, his heart heavy with disappointment. Thank you for everything, ma, he said quietly, taking the envelope and walking out of the office. As Bayo left, Clara felt a pang of regret. She watched him go, her heart aching at the sight of his dejected figure. She knew she had hurt him, but she convinced herself it was the right thing to do. She needed to protect herself from the feelings that threatened to disrupt her life. Days turned into weeks, and Clara tried to move on, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't stop thinking about Bayo. His absence was like a constant ache, a reminder of what she had lost. She missed his presence, his quiet strength, and the way he made her feel. Bayo, meanwhile, struggled to find a new job. He spent his days searching for work, his nights filled with the thoughts of Clara. He couldn't understand why she had let him go, but he respected her decision. Still, his feelings for her remained as strong as ever, and he longed for the chance to see her again. Clara confided in Abigail about her decision, hoping for some reassurance. I had to let him go, Abby. It was too complicated, she explained, her voice filled with regret. Abigail listened. Clara, I understand why you did it, but you need to be honest with yourself. You have feelings for him, and pretending otherwise won't make them go away. Clara sighed, feeling the weight of her emotions. I know, but it's so hard. I don't know what to do. Follow your heart, Clara, Abigail advised gently. Sometimes you have to take risks in order to find happiness. And as the weeks went by, Clara found it increasingly difficult to ignore her feelings. She missed Bayo so much than she had ever anticipated. Unable to bear the separation any longer, Clara dialed Bayo's number. She felt a mix of anxiety and hope as the phone rang, each second stretching into an eternity. When Bayo finally answered, his voice was soft, almost hesitant. Hello, he said, uncertainty lacing his tone. Bayo, it's Clara, she began, her voice trembling slightly. Have you found a new job? There was a brief pause before Bayo responded. No, I am still searching. Clara took a deep breath, steadying herself. Please come back to work tomorrow, she said, her heart pounding. The next day, Clara waited anxiously for Bayo's arrival. She had spent the night tossing and turning, questioning her decision, ultimately knowing it was what she needed to do. Bayo arrived and walked towards the house, and as soon as Clara saw him, all the emotions she had been suppressing came rushing back. Without a word, she ran to him and they embraced, holding each other tightly. The warmth of his arms around her felt like home, and all the tension melted away. Their kiss was passionate, filled with all the longing and love they had both been holding back. It was a moment of pure connection, and for the first time in a very long while, Clara felt whole. They spent the day together, talking and reconnecting. Clara explained why she had let him go and how much she had missed him. Bayo listened, his heart swelling with the relief and happiness that he felt. He had never stopped loving her, and hearing her confess her feelings made everything worth it. Yes, I've loved you since the very first day I started this job, Bayo confessed, his eyes shining with sincerity. Clara smiled, her eyes filled with tears. I never thought I could fall in love, but I was wrong, she admitted, her voice breaking with emotions. As the evening turned into night, they found themselves in each other's arms, the bond between them growing stronger with every passing moment. They shared stories, laughters, and silent promises, building a foundation of trust and love. I want to be with you, Bayo, Clara said softly, looking into his eyes. I don't care about what people think, I just want to be happy. Bayo's heart swelled with love, and I want to be with you too. I promise to always be there for you, to love you, and to support you. As they lay together wrapped in each other's arms, Clara felt a sense of contentment she had never known before. She had finally found the courage to follow her heart. Clara decided to change Bayo's life for the better. She knew how hardworking and dedicated he was and wanted to ensure he had a stable future. One evening, after a long day at work, Clara brought up the idea to him. Bayo, I want to help you start your own business, she said, looking at him with determination. Bayo was taken aback. My own business? Clara, that's incredible. But how? I believe in you, Bayo. You are smart and capable. I have some savings and I want to invest in your future, Clara explained, her eyes shining with sincerity. Bayo felt a surge of emotions. Clara, I don't know what to say, but thank you. Thank you, and I promise never to let you down. They spent the next few weeks planning and preparing, brainstorming about ideas, and Clara used her business acumen to help Bayo develop a solid business plan. They decided on car hire services, something Bayo was passionate about and had experience in. Clara provided the capital for initial investment, covering the cost of a few cars, necessary permits, and marketing. Bayo threw himself into the new venture with enthusiasm. Clara was there every step of the way, offering her support. Their relationship blossomed as they navigated this new chapter together. They faced challenges, but their bond grew stronger with each new obstacle that came their way. Despite social judgment, Clara and Bayo decided to get married. They knew their relationship would raise eyebrows, but their love was stronger than any obstacle. Clara's friends and family had mixed reactions, some supportive, others skeptical. Bayo's background and status as Clara's former driver were often topics of gossip. One afternoon, Clara and Bayo visited their parents to share the news of their engagement. Her mother was insistent but kind, while her father was more reserved. "Clara, are you sure about this?" her father asked, his tone serious. Clara held Bayo's hand firmly. "Yes, Dad, I love Bayo and he loves me. That's all that matters." Her father sighed, then smiled faintly. "My daughter, if you are happy, that's all I want for you." Abigail, as always, stood by Clara and Bayo, offering support. She helped them plan the wedding and was a constant source of encouragement. "Don't let anyone's opinion affect you too," Abigail said one evening as they discussed wedding details. "Your love is real and that's what matters." Clara hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Abby. We couldn't have done this without you." Bayo nodded in agreement. "Yes, thank you so much for everything, Abigail." Clara and Bayo's wedding was a beautiful celebration of their love. The ceremony took place in a beautiful garden, adorned with vibrant flowers and twinkling lights. Clara looked stunning in her elegant white dress, while Bayo looked dashing in his suit. Their vows were heartfelt and emotional, bringing tears to the eyes of many guests. After the ceremony, the newlyweds danced under the stars, their happiness evident to all who attended. Abigail, as the maid of honor, gave a touching speech about Clara and Bayo's journey, highlighting their love and resilience. Following the wedding, Clara and Bayo embarked on a romantic honeymoon to the serene beaches of Seychelles. They spent their days lounging on the ocean, exploring the island, and enjoying each other's company. It was a time of relaxation and bonding, allowing them to deepen their connection even further. Upon their return, life settled into a happy routine. Clara continued to manage her successful business, while Bayo's car hire service flourished. They supported each other's endeavors, offering advice and encouragement. Their love grew stronger with each passing day, and their home was filled with warmth and laughter. A few months after their honeymoon, Clara discovered she was pregnant. The news brought immense joy to both Clara and Bayo. Bayo was all over the moon, and he showered Clara with affection and care. He attended every doctor's appointment, cooked her favorite meal, and made sure she was comfortable. "You are going to be an amazing mother," Bayo said one evening, gently placing his hand on Clara's growing belly. "And you will be the best father," Clara replied, her eyes filled with love. As Clara's pregnancy progressed, they prepared their home for the arrival of their baby. They decorated the nursery with soft colors and adorable animal motifs. Bayo assembled the crib, and Clara carefully arranged the tiny clothes and toys. They spent hours imagining the future filled with dreams and hope for their child. When the day finally came, Bayo was by Clara's side, holding her hand through every contraction. The delivery was smooth, and soon they welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world. They named her Precious. Holding Precious for the first time, Clara felt an overwhelming sense of love and gratitude. "She's so perfect," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Bayo kissed Clara's forehead, his eyes also wet with tears. "Thank you, Clara, for everything. You've given me the perfect life." Their family grew, and they found happiness in each other's arms. Clara realized that true love was worth fighting for, no matter the challenges. They spent their days watching baby Precious grow, marveling at every little milestone. Their home was filled with baby giggles and the pitter-patter of tiny feet. Abigail was overjoyed to see her friend so happy. She often visited, bringing in gifts and helping Clara navigate the joys and challenges of motherhood. Their bond grew stronger, and they cherished the moment they spent together as friends and families. "Seeing you like this, Clara, makes me so happy," Abigail said one afternoon as they watched their baby play. I couldn't have done it without you, Abby. You are the best friend in the world. In the end, Clara and Bayo's love story was a testament to the love and strength of the human spirit. As they watched their baby take their first steps, Clara and Bayo exchanged a look of pure joy and contentment. They had found their happily ever after, and it was more beautiful than they could ever imagine. The story of Clara and Bayo teaches us that true love knows no boundaries, and it is worth fighting for, regardless of societal expectations or obstacles. It shows the importance of following one heart, taking risks, and supporting each other through challenges. Clara and Bayo's journey illustrates that with love, dedication, and mutual respect, we can overcome any adversity and build a life filled with happiness and fulfillment. Their story reminds us that love and strength lies in the ability to bring out the best in us and transform our lives in the most beautiful ways. Thanks for watching this captivating story on African stories and folktales. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories. Thank you.